Have you ever had one of those moments where you laugh so hard, your belly aches and tears form in the corner of your eyes? And afterward, you just feel lighter? Almost like a weight lifted off your shoulders, even if just for a while? It's as if something inside us knows that laughter is more than just fun. It's healing. And as the years go by, it might just be one of the most overlooked medicines we have. When we're young, laughter can come easily. Silly jokes, playful banter, making faces with friends. It's part of everyday life. But as we age, life brings heavier things, real responsibilities, health concerns, sometimes loss or loneliness. And without noticing it, laughter can slip away, becoming something we reserve only for special occasions, if we remember it at all. That's a shame, because laughter, especially after 70, isn't just about feeling good in the moment. It can help keep your heart strong, your mood steady, and your mind flexible. It's like a natural stress reliever, painkiller, and energy booster rolled into one. And while it might sound too good to be true, it's been shown time and again, both in everyday stories and serious medical studies, that laughter can even boost your immune system and help you cope with physical or emotional pain. But if you're someone who hasn't had a hearty laugh in a while, you might be wondering, how do I even start? Especially if you're dealing with challenges that feel anything but funny. You might look around and think, where would I even find laughter now? That's okay, because in this video, we're going to walk through 4 easy ways to bring laughter back into your daily life. Yes, even if you're feeling a bit stuck or worried that your sense of humor has faded. And the best part? You don't need a stand-up comedy routine or a house full of funny grandkids to spark a laugh. Sometimes all it takes is a small shift in perspective, a simple habit, or a willingness to seek out joy in unexpected places. Because laughter can be gentle. It doesn't have to be rolling on the floor every single time. It can be a soft chuckle, a shared smile, or a silly memory that warms your heart. Let's start with the first point, and it might surprise you. Appreciating the little absurdities of daily life. Think about the everyday mishaps. The spilled coffee, the sock that disappeared, in the laundry, the time you looked everywhere for your reading glasses only to find them perched on top of your head. These moments might seem frustrating, but they're also a little ridiculous, aren't they? Allowing yourself to find humor in small mistakes or quirks can make challenges feel lighter. It gives your brain permission to say, hey, this is silly, might as well giggle. Sometimes we need to remind ourselves that not everything requires a serious or tired sigh. There's no harm in shaking your head, laughing at the situation, and carrying on. That little laugh can diffuse stress, remind you you're human, and keep your spirit buoyant. Qualities that become more precious than ever in your 70s and beyond. So let's explore how to let more laughter bubble up. Because the best things about laughter, it's contagious, it's free, and it has no side effects except maybe a few happy tears in your eyes. It's amazing how something as simple as a little grin can shift our entire outlook. But sometimes finding that grin isn't so easy. We might be used to the daily grind, the aches, the concerns that pile up like unread letters. Yet the power of humor can slice through all that if we let it. So let's continue exploring practical ways to invite laughter into your everyday life, starting with something that might feel almost too simple, seeking out the things that make you laugh on purpose. Yes, it might sound obvious, but ask yourself, when was the last time you intentionally watched or listened to something just because it was funny?
As kids or teenagers, we might have done it naturally. Silly cartoons, comedic sketches, practical jokes with friends. But as adults, especially past 70, we often forget that permission to just play and laugh still belongs to us.
Sometimes all it takes is a gentle reminder that yes, we're allowed to choose entertainment that's purely fun. If you have access to the internet or a TV streaming service, consider scheduling a weekly or even daily comedy break. Maybe it's a short clip from your favorite sitcom, a classic stand-up routine you once loved, or a light-hearted movie from the days when you used to go to the cinema more often. There's something comforting about revisiting an old favorite that made you laugh decades ago, like reuniting with an old friend who tells the same joke. But it never gets old. And if technology feels intimidating, don't worry. You can find humor in simpler ways too. Some libraries still have DVDs of classic comedy shows. Maybe you could borrow them with a friend, making it a mini social event. Or take advantage of your local radio stations that play comedic segments or morning banter. You'd be surprised how hearing a few jokes on a dull afternoon can brighten the mood. There's also a joy in sharing the laughter. If you share a home with someone, or if you have a friend or neighbor nearby, try creating a little tradition. Every Thursday evening, watch a funny clip together or take turns picking something that made you smile during the week. It doesn't have to be a big production. Just a 5-minute break where you both pause life's worries and remember what it's like to chuckle at something silly. But humor doesn't only come from the outside. Sometimes the best laughs happen when you let yourself be a little goofy. That might feel awkward at first, especially if you're used to being seen as the serious one. You might think, I'm too old to be acting silly now. Yet the truth is, embracing a touch of silliness is one of the quickest ways to lighten your heart. Maybe it's dancing around the living room to a nostalgic tune, trying on a funny hat you'd never wear in public, or practicing a silly face in the mirror. Let yourself laugh at your own spontaneity. It might sound strange, but these small acts of playful self-expression can be a powerful spark of joy. And in those moments when gloom or frustration settles over you like a dark cloud, recall a funny memory, a family story that always made you laugh, a goofy mishap from years ago. Think of it as flipping a mental switch, from heaviness to lightness, even if it's just for a minute. Like anything, it takes practice. But soon enough you'll find yourself doing it without thinking, slipping into laughter more effortlessly whenever life threatens to feel too heavy. So yes, make time to watch or read something funny. Share that laughter with someone, or just giggle alone if nobody's around. Lean into your silly side once in a while, and see how these small moments begin to carve out more space in your day for warmth, connection, and that gentle glow of happiness that laughter can bring. Now that we've spent time on bringing laughter into your space and daily life, let's explore even more ways to kindle that spark. Because laughter isn't just about entertainment, it can also come from the simple, meaningful ways we engage with the world around us. It's fascinating how laughter can become a bridge, connecting us not only to the bright side of our own experiences, but also to other people's warmth, humor, and stories. When we laugh, we let go of our guard for a moment, letting the world see that we're still capable of delight and fun, no matter our age or situation. And sometimes the key to unlocking more laughter lies in the way we relate to others. Have you ever noticed how being around children, for example, can trigger laughter in a way nothing else can? Their sense of wonder, their silliness, their complete lack of inhibition, it can be downright contagious. If you have grandchildren, nieces or nephews, or you volunteer somewhere kids gather, you probably know this magic firsthand. One off-key joke, one dramatic fall, then giggle, and suddenly everyone's roaring with laughter no matter how stressful the day might have felt before. That's the power of letting go and letting laughter bubble up from a place of pure, unfiltered joy. But even if you aren't around kids, you can seek out that kind of lightness among friends or neighbors. People who understand that life isn't always easy, but who choose laughter anyway. Maybe you schedule a weekly coffee chat either in person or over the phone, where part of your agenda is simply swapping a funny anecdote or a ridiculous memory. These get-togethers can be an oasis in your routine, a small corner of your week dedicated to looking on the bright side, on purpose. What if, though, you're more on the shy or private side? Maybe big social gatherings aren't your thing. That's perfectly fine. You can still share laughter in gentler ways, like emailing or texting a humorous meme to a friend, or leaving a goofy voice message for a loved one. Remember, the point isn't to perform for anyone. It's to connect, to lighten up the day for both yourself and someone else, and to remind each other that there's so much more to life than just the hard parts. And while connecting with others helps, we can't ignore that laughter often comes from within. That's why it might help to develop a kind of inner humor radar, an ability to notice when something tickles you, even if it's tiny, and giving yourself full permission to laugh out loud. Sometimes we hold back, worried we'll look silly laughing at something no one else finds funny. But laughter is personal. If a random memory of a friend's wacky dance move from 10 years ago makes you chuckle while you're washing dishes, let it out. Lean into that moment. Because by allowing yourself to laugh, you reinforce a powerful message to your psyche. I'm allowed to feel lightness even in the mundane. There's also an unexpected source of laughter we don't often talk about: our own missteps. It's easy to get frustrated when we drop our keys or forget a name. But sometimes calling it out and laughing at ourselves kindly and without judgment is the best response. It diffuses the tension, softens any self-criticism, and might even give someone nearby permission to giggle too. Life is full of tiny accidents. Embracing them with a little laugh can keep them from turning into serious joy-killing moments. So whether it's finding humor in everyday mischief, connecting with others over something silly, or simply letting yourself laugh at a stray thought, every giggle counts. Each one helps maintain a cushion of joy that can support you when the heavier parts of life come knocking. Think of laughter as a daily investment in your emotional and even physical well-being, a little deposit of resilience that grows over time. And the beauty of it is, laughter doesn't need to be complicated. It doesn't require a script or a stage or a perfect comedic setup. It just needs you. Open, willing to see the funny side, and ready to share a moment of brightness with yourself or the people around you. Now that we've explored how humor connects us to others and how we can cultivate it from within, let's keep going, because there's yet another perspective on laughter, one that blends the lighthearted with the healing, reminding us that laughter has a place in even the most serious moments of our lives. There's a beautiful truth about laughter that people sometimes miss. It can happen even in the midst of sadness, uncertainty, or pain. That might sound strange, almost contradictory, but think back on a time when you were facing something difficult. Maybe sitting in a hospital waiting room with a loved one, or dealing with a frustrating household problem, when suddenly something funny happened. A witty comment slipped out or a bizarre coincidence made you shake your head, and you laughed in spite of everything. For just a moment, the tension broke. You felt lighter, maybe even braver. That's because laughter doesn't ignore reality. It just offers a slight detour from it. It doesn't solve all our problems, of course, but it gives us a new vantage point. It reminds us that no matter how serious a situation might be, there's still room for warmth and human connection. Even in sorrow, laughter can peep through like a little burst of sunlight on a gray day. And you know, after 70, life has undoubtedly handed you your share of storms. Maybe there are health concerns you never had before, or you've lost people you once leaned on. It's not always easy to smile when life feels heavy, let alone laugh. But that's exactly why laughter is so precious, because it can coexist with struggle. It can offer relief where logic can't, and it can fortify you with the emotional strength you need to face whatever comes next. Think of laughter as a kind of resilience training for your heart and mind. Each time you let yourself laugh, even in the midst of chaos or worry, you teach yourself that hardship and joy can live side by side. You teach yourself that you are more than your challenges. You are also your memories, your ability to see humor in the world, your relationships, your capacity to keep feeling alive. And that sense of emotional flexibility might be one of the greatest assets we have as we get older. Sometimes you'll find that the best laughs come from the most unexpected places. A silly misunderstanding with a neighbor, a lost hairbrush that turns up in the fridge. How did that happen? Or a pet's comical reaction to something new. And other times, laughter might arise from a place of empathy, seeing someone else go through a similar situation and making light of it together, turning confusion into camaraderie. Laughter transforms isolation into communion, especially when we share it. And if you're wondering how to blend humor into the harder moments of life without feeling disrespectful or shallow, think of it this way. You're not laughing at your problems, you're laughing in spite of them. You're choosing to hold on to hope, to the spark of life that says, I'm still here, and I can still find beauty and whimsy in the world. That choice can be deeply comforting, not just for you, but for the people around you who see your example and realize they too can keep a little corner of their heart open to joy. Now, that doesn't mean you force yourself to laugh when you're genuinely upset. There's no need to push away real feelings, but it does mean you give yourself permission to let laughter come when it wants to. Some folks think it's disrespectful to find humor during serious times, but often, it's an act of courage. It's a gentle acknowledgement that you are more than your circumstances, and that laughter can be part of healing, part of processing, part of finding balance. And if you ever feel guilt over smiling in the midst of difficulty, remind yourself that laughter isn't a betrayal of sadness or worry. It's a reaffirmation of life, a small rebellion against the heaviness that tries to settle on your heart. It says, I see the weight of this moment, but I also choose to embrace the lightness where I can. This is exactly why laughter after 70 matters so much. Because life might not be simpler now, but your ability to weave joy into the everyday can grow stronger if you let it. And the effect isn't just emotional. Studies suggest that laughter can help regulate stress hormones, which in turn can influence things like blood pressure, immunity, and even pain tolerance. It's as though our bodies welcome laughter as a sign of hope, responding with a gentle sigh of relief. So here we are, at the intersection of seriousness and silliness, of grief and giggles, of weight and levity, realizing that we can hold both if we so choose. And that's what makes laughter so precious at this stage in life. It's not just an escape, it's a resource, a coping mechanism, a light in the dark. There's still one more dimension to explore, a final perspective on laughter that not only brightens your own day but can create a ripple effect of joy around you. Because when we laugh, we don't just lift ourselves, we invite others to rise with us. There's a simple truth about laughter. It's contagious. Think about how often you've seen someone laugh, and even if you didn't know what was funny, you started smiling too. It's one of those rare human experiences that can pass from one person to another, wordlessly and effortlessly, like a spark catching fire. And that's part of what makes laughter so beautiful, especially later in life. Because it's not just for you. It's a gift you can share. Imagine this. You're in a waiting room or sitting on a park bench. People around you might be lost in their own thoughts, worries, or phone screens. But if something tickles your funny bone, a stray dog doing a silly trick, a snippet of an amusing conversation nearby, and you let out a little chuckle, someone else might catch that warmth. Maybe they glance up, curious. Maybe they smile in return, even if they don't know what's amusing you. In that moment, you've created a brief connection. You've reminded each other that life still holds these tiny bursts of joy. Or picture yourself at a family gathering. Sometimes those can be stressful or chaotic, the younger ones racing around, the older ones chatting, or maybe even arguing. But let a good joke surface, let there be a shared laugh, and suddenly people are leaning in toward one another. The tension breaks. You remember why you're all there, to connect, to support, to witness each other's lives. All it took was a little humor to bring everyone together. Laughter becomes the glue that holds the moment in place, the harmony amidst the noise, and the ripple effect doesn't stop there. When you cultivate a habit of laughing more, even if it's just gentle chuckles or light smiles, you start to notice the softer side of everyday life. You catch yourself letting go of small irritations faster. You give other people permission to relax around you, to share their own little stories, to open up. It's almost like saying, hey, it's safe to be real here. It's safe to find something funny together. Beyond the emotional lift, there's the physical release. A good laugh can feel like an internal massage. Muscles that have been tense might suddenly let go. Shoulders fall from your ears. The weight of a dozen worries slips off, at least for a moment. And as you open your eyes to the world again, things might look a bit brighter. Maybe that ache in your knee isn't gone, but your spirit feels lighter. Maybe you haven't solved every family issue, but you've shown a kindness to yourself, by embracing a little joy. In many ways, laughter is also a statement about resilience. It says, I've been through storms, I've seen how tough life can get, but I choose to find reasons to smile anyway. Especially after 70, that kind of optimism isn't naive. It's an act of courage. You have the wisdom to understand life's challenges and the grit to face them, yet you still choose to keep space in your heart for mirth and play. That's not childish, that's seasoned, thoughtful bravery. So if you've been following along, we've talked about how to seek humor in daily mishaps, how to invite laughter by watching or reading something funny, how to embrace silliness, even if it feels awkward, how to share a laugh with others and yourself, and how laughter can coexist with serious moments, becoming a form of healing and resilience. Now it's your turn. Ask yourself, when was the last time I really laughed? And if the answer is, too long ago, consider giving one of these ideas a try. Maybe it's finding a new show that tickles you, calling an old friend to swap silly memories, or simply letting yourself giggle at your own clumsy moment instead of sighing about it. If you're dealing with worries, pain, or grief, remember that laughter isn't disrespecting your feelings. It's reminding you that you're still vibrantly alive beneath them. And one more thing. The next time you catch yourself smiling or chuckling at something small, savor it. Recognize that you're caring for your mind, your body, your heart. You're reminding yourself that age doesn't define how much joy you can experience. In fact, it can deepen it, because you appreciate how fleeting and precious those moments of lightness can be. If something in this conversation touched you or sparked a memory, share it below. Let's build a space where laughter, hope, and honest connection meet, right here in the comments. If you found value in these ideas, please give this video a like, and consider subscribing for more gentle, uplifting talks that help you live fully no matter your age. Because you deserve more than just getting by. You deserve laughter, warmth, and the freedom to find delight in the simple things. Here's to every giggle, every belly laugh, and every quiet smile that sneaks up on you. May they keep your spirit buoyant and your heart open. You're never too old to laugh. And each laugh is a small, beautiful act of defiance against the heaviness of life. Proof that you're still here, still shining. So go on. Find your next reason to smile. You might be surprised by how many wait just around the corner, ready to lighten your day and brighten your world.